NetsBoy, so let's hear what he has to say. His name is NetsBoy, he thinks the world is all over when the Nets just can't play. Hey, welcome back. NetsBoy here, bring your latest in your Brooklyn Nets news. I say welcome back because it's been almost 3 months since my last NetsBoy episode, which was way back after the Mikal Bridges trade. Like, that was the last episode that I posted. And, there was reason for that. The first one, as the one I use all the time, NetsBoy is secretly very, very busy and doesn't have a lot of time to film these episodes, just being honest. But a lot of people really don't care about that, nor really should you, because, like, sometimes it's just kind of an excuse. But that's obviously the first reason. But the other reason was after the Bridges trade, I wanted to sit back and wait. I wanted to wait and see what other major moves this Nets team was going to make, because we knew what the Nets strategy was. Bridges is gone. They bring in all the draft picks. They make separate trades to bring back their own 2025 and 2026 pick from the Rockets. So it was clear that the plan was the Nets are going to develop their young players and tank to get a top pick in this upcoming draft, which is supposed to be very deep and have a really, really good talent and possibly franchise-altering players on it. Like that's what everyone's saying about this upcoming draft class. So we know that's the strategy for this Nets team. So I sat back. I said, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to post another episode until I see Sean Marks and the Nets do something else. So Summer League comes. Nothing happens. So I wait. Then I wait some more. I wait again. Training camp starts up. Nothing really. But I continue to wait. Preseason starts. And I'm still waiting. And now here we are, October 9th, which is when I'm filming this episode. Like I said, preseason is officially underway. The NBA season is just less than 3 weeks away. And no other moves by the Nets. Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Bojan Bogdanovic, Dennis Schroeder, also on this team. And I didn't expect the Nets to get rid of all those players. But I did expect them to get rid of like 2 of them. Because I'm sorry. This Nets team doesn't suck enough. It doesn't suck enough. Look at it. Like, be objective and look at it. It's not a bottom 5 roster. Like, that's what you need to be in this upcoming. Like, to do this strategy correctly, you need to be one of the bottom 5 teams in the NBA. And look, I'm not saying this Nets team is going to like shock people and make the playoffs, but I don't think they're a bottom 5 team. I think they're bottom 10. I think they're not going to be a great team, but the roster's just not bad enough. Like, and look at it this way, right? What was the one major change between this Nets team and the Nets team last year? Like, what was the major difference? And I granted, a lot of the rotational players are different and so on and so forth, but just hear me out. It's just Mikal Bridges, right? Mikal Bridges is gone, and now the Nets have Bojan Bogdanovic. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Bogdanovic is just as good as Mikal Bridges, because he absolutely is not. I'm not saying that. But offensively, he's pretty comparable. Like, if you look at it objectively, they're both wing players who are capable of giving you 20 on any given night, who shoot the three-point shot pretty well, who can put the ball on the floor and score, and just honestly be an effective wing player. And that's kind of what Mikal Bridges was for this Nets team last year. He wasn't the superstar or the star that the Nets were hoping for. It was more Cam Thomas. Mikal Bridges became more of the second option. And once again, Bogdanovic is not the same player. I'm not trying to say that, but I don't see him as that much more of a downgrade. Like, I really don't. So if that's the only major difference between this Nets team, and the Nets team last year won 32 games, won 32-50, and finished as the 11th seed in the East, why should I really think they should be that much worse this year? Especially when you think about the possibility of young players like Noah Clowney and Jalen Wilson and 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 Cam Thomas and continuing to develop Nick Claxton, who the Nets made sure to bring back, which was really smart, continuing to develop his game, right? Veteran leadership from Dennis Schroeder, who I do think the Nets should keep, and the possibility of Ben the Useless Simmons to actually play, allegedly yet again. Like I'm sorry, like we're not going to talk about that obviously, but once again, for like the third consecutive year, Ben Simmons is at the healthiest he's ever been and looks like all-star Ben. Whatever. But my point is, objectively looking at this roster, how is this team that much worse than last year's? And it is, but I don't think by a lot. Now, granted, the rest of the league has gotten significantly better. I think at least the top teams have gotten better. I'm not trying to say that the Nets are going to be a great team. Like I said, they're not. But I just don't see this team being bad enough, and I don't get it. I don't. I know Sean Marks had his chances shopping these players around. It was reported he didn't like a lot of the offers he was getting for Finney-Smith or Cam Johnson, and I get it. And I get what the strategy is. The strategy is just, let's not jump into anything now. Let's start playing the season and let's see what other offers come as the trade deadline approaches. Maybe we can get more. I get it. I get Sean Marks' strategy. The problem is the way I look at this roster, the way I look at this rotation, it's going to be, or should be, but maybe Coach Fernandez has some other plans, which we'll see. Dennis Schroeder, Cam Thomas, Boyan Bogdanovic, Cam Johnson, and Nick Claxton as your starting lineup. Where you're going to have Daron Sharp, Dorian Finney-Smith, Noah Clowney, Jalen Wilson, and possibly Ben Useless Simmons all coming off the bench. And I'm sorry, if you really want to develop Jalen Wilson and Noah Clowney, I think they should be in the starting lineup. I really do. That's why, in my mind, at least two of those veterans had to be gone off this team. Maybe not necessarily they needed to be starting, but they need to be significant rotational players, getting at least 20 minutes a game to continue to develop. Especially Jalen Wilson. I think Jalen Wilson, who was the Summer League MVP, should be the starting shooting guard. Starting small forward on this team. And he can't with Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic is going to be clogging up the way there. And maybe Coach Fernandez starts Jalen Wilson ahead of Bogdanovic, which I would love to see, but I don't know many coaches that are going to do that. I know that's part of the appeal of Jordi Fernandez is that he's more outside the box. He has said at Media Day, everything is going to be, a true competition and everyone's going to earn their minutes. But it's very rare that that's actually true, at least in the beginning of the season. But my point is, I don't see the opportunity for the young players to develop at this point, and I see too much decent players, and it's just mind-boggling. It really is, and I swear, like I can see a situation where the Nets, with the roster they currently have, finish with like same as last year, like the 11 seed, right? Just missing the play-in and just missing the playoffs. But because they finished with the 11 seed and they have like the 8th worst record in the league or something like that, and they end up getting like the 12th pick in the draft. And that's not bottom 3. Like if you're the Nets, you got to shoot to have a bottom 3 or bottom 5 record and get a top 3 pick in this draft. Like that should be the goal. To me, that would be a successful season for this Nets team, is if they develop players like Wilson, Cam Thomas, and Noah Clowney. They continue to develop those players. Maybe we see something from Dariq Whitehead, maybe another surprise player like Keon Johnson or something, or Zaire Williams, who the Nets brought in to say, maybe somebody shocks them. Like they prove themselves and the Nets finish with a bottom 5 record and get a top 3 pick in this draft. That's a successful season for this Nets. And that should be the target and the goal. But leave it to Sean Marks and the Brooklyn Nets to somehow fail at sucking. Like only the Nets could be that franchise that fails at trying to suck. Like I can see this happening. I can see a scenario where this is happening. Because like it would just be another comical chapter that is this Brooklyn Nets franchise. I can see it happening that the Nets can't even succeed at sucking. I really hope I'm wrong. I don't want to obviously root against the Nets, And I don't want them to be a complete disaster. But at least I see the path. And I just, right now, I don't see how we're getting to that path. I see where the path is, but there's no way of getting there right now because there's just too much mediocrity. And I mean mediocrity in actually a good way here that's preventing it from happening. I'm just, whatever. I'm done. That's all I really had to say in this episode. I know I talked about some of my expectations or what I think is going to happen, but my next episode is going to be that. I wasn't going to go into the preseason expectations and predictions just yet. I was going to wait until after the preseason so I had a better chance of looking at this Nets team, looking at some of the players, looking at the rotation. So that will be my next NetsBoy episode, which will probably be in like 2 weeks because the season starts in about 3, where I'll be able to look at this team and I'll predict what will happen, what their record could be, who's going to actually be on this team moving forward, and all this stuff. But as it is right now, that's just unsuck enough. So there you have it. Let me know what you guys think about everything. If you agree with me that the way this roster is constructed, this is not a bottom 5 team in the league, and that Sean Marks needs to make some moves early on in the season, and we just don't want to stunt the growth of the younger players. That's really what I care about more. So, let me know what you guys think about everything. Until then, welcome back. This is NetsBoy signing off.